if I was running, I'd look for a completely different approach.
Hi guys.
Talking about inflation,
welcome back to XCOM 2 board and shows and some modded core collection. We should be on a final episode now. The last of it. So let's check it out.
But it's also not the campaign, because what I'm picking up from my Democratic friends and sources is that the close-knit group around President Biden has locked down and basically takes the attitude that with the national polls at +2 for Trump, it's not that bad. I think that's a big mistake.
Well, what about likely voters? Some of these polls, it does show Biden with a slight unlikely voters uptick on the former president.
Something has changed. Republicans have actually, and Trump have added some votes. They've added some Hispanic votes. They've added some younger voters, and they are less likely to vote. So it's actually a good sign, a sign of growth. But remember Bill Clinton, a fellow who got reelected? The era of big government is over. Go, baby. Well, Biden should do something like that. He's got to admit he's done a lot of stuff that hasn't worked. It's gotten wrong. But what you said, Fred, I think is exactly right. He's not that guy. He thinks he's doing a great job. He thinks his weakness and indecision is actually moderation and censorship, and it's killing him.
How about the Chinese tariffs thing today? I mean, 2019, then candidate Biden said President Trump was exactly wrong on Chinese tariffs. It was hurting the country. And suddenly now it's not, and he's doing it back right now.
I think what Biden is doing is flailing around for an issue that can get him right with the populist surge in America. By picking China as an issue, he really doesn't change the narrative, because the problems Alex was talking about are the ones American people are focusing on. He looks like a flip-flopper, and what is weakness to the American people ultimately redounds to his detriment.
Oh, okay. What's a positive? Is there a positive?
There are a couple of positives, but they're limited. The number 2 issue in the New York Times survey is still abortion, and that's a problem for Republicans. You know, one instance is that one dot is happenstance, 2 is a trend, and right now Republicans have Dobbs, they have IDF. Some Republicans have tried to do something with nationalizing federal law against this. So that's still a problem.
You haven't heard the Democrats talk about it.
It's freedom of women, but it's also the only thing Biden's got. You know, it's not a replacement for a vision where I'd lead the country, and that's a real problem for him. And Chinese tariffs, patchwork. You know, and 1 hour later after a Chinese tariff, you want another one.
You know, Alex said something that's very important, that there is no democratic narrative now. When I worked for Bill Clinton and did the era of big government, we had a clear theory of the case. We were running to the center. We were trying to get modern conservative aims. This is a president that's been hijacked by the left.
But isn't this part of that triangulation, like a Bill Clinton move, trying to take Newt Gingrich's stuff and say,
well, we successfully triangulated, and I don't think you can appease Hamas, the far left progressives, who are anti-capitalist, anti-freedom, and frankly, the values we care about.
So when we get to the convention, you got Steven Spielberg, who apparently is producing the Democratic convention in Chicago. Can he produce President Biden?
Well, he needs an actor to work with, and all he's got is Joe. So, you know, they say that the worst thing that can happen to a bad product is good advertising. He better hope Steven Spielberg doesn't give him good advertising.
It's always great talking to you guys. We'll have you back.
Look forward.
Thanks a lot. Up next, Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrives in Ukraine. The first visit there after Congress approved new aid.
I can handle that.
In here, you can expect to find crystal clear audio, expansive display space, and more comfort for everyone. But we still left room for all the unexpected things you'll find out here. The new 2024 Grand Cherokee lineup. Jeep, there's only one.
It's Jeep 4x4 season. Well, right now, get the 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee starting at $38,290 MSRP. Visit Jeep.com for details.
We are too much for them.
At Consumer Cellular, we offer amazing 5G coverage backed up by incredible customer service. But that wouldn't mean much without super low prices. You already don't want to have as much as the largest carriers. But guess what? AARP members can save even more.
And for a limited time, new customers get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
St. Jude, the mission is just something that everyone can truly get behind. They're on the bridge. We're just regular people donating. And they think it's cool to be able to make a difference in someone's life in a way that
Switch to Shopify so you can build it better, scale it faster, and sell more. Much more. Take your business to the next stage when you switch to Shopify.
So tell me about your heart attack. Our heart attack was scary. Never want to go through that again.
but we could.
With heart disease, you never know.
So maybe changes.
Green juice.
Yeah, no.
Diet, exercise, statins helped, but our LDL-C, bad cholesterol, it was stuck. Just couldn't lower it enough. And high LDL-C meant
A real risk of another attack. So I said, let's ask our doctor about Repatha.
can I say, listen to your heart.
Repatha dramatically lowers LDL-C by 63% and significantly drops the risk of having a heart attack. Do not take Repatha if you are allergic to it. Repatha can cause serious allergic reactions. Signs include trouble breathing or swallowing of the face. Most common side effects include runny nose, sore throat, common cold symptoms, flu or flu-like symptoms, back pain, high blood sugar, and redness beyond using at the injection site.
We won't let another heart attack set us back.
And neither should you.
Listen to your heart. Lower your LDL-C and your risk with Repatha. Talk to your doctor.
What impacts you every day? Undeniably, there's one influential book that shapes the way we measure, creates, and ignite change. The Bible's impact is all around you. Discover how at museum of the Bible.
Here's what's getting better today.
Here to feed these two every Thursday.
Help fuel today with precise protein. The complete nutrition you need without the stuff you don't. So, here's to now.
Shine on Ingram Angle. We're going to take you inside the Trump courtroom. Yeah, I'm going to be there. I get to see Chuck and Michael coming up close. Hopefully, that's tonight on the end.
Hair dryer, TJ, my life changed forever. During the pandemic, all of our lives changed, and many of us turned to alcohol and drugs to cope. As life returns to normal, the increase in substance use
I got lucky.
and some police services report an increase in impaired driving that caused heartbreak and devastation. Now, more than ever, we need your commitment to never drive impaired. And to
Whoa.
to do the same. Together, we can save lives.
The American Society of Natural Degrowth. You know, it's easier than I know because a secret society has dangerous error. White people, because the happier they are, the safer we are. That is true. Change everything. Always find out the American Society of Natural Degrowth. Check it now.
There is a way.
Take a look at Wall Street now. Stocks were up ahead of a consumer inflation report. The Dow jumping 127. The S&P 500 gained 25. The Nasdaq rose 123 to a new record close. President's top diplomat is in Ukraine's capital tonight. It is Secretary of State Antony Blinken's first trip to Kyiv since Congress passed a huge military aid package last month. The visit comes at a key point in Ukraine's war with Russia. Senior Foreign Affairs correspondent Greg Palkov reports tonight.
It's being called one of the most dangerous times for Ukraine since the start of its war with Russia. Moscow's military smashing into the
country's northeast, taking 50 square miles of land, several towns, closing in on the country's second biggest city of Kharkiv. As hard-hit Ukrainian forces, short on guns and ammo, fight back with everything they can muster. And thousands flee for their lives.
The bombs are flying, rockets and bombs hit 5 or 6 houses.
Into this crisis came Secretary of State Blinken, the first visit of a top U.S. official. The late $61 billion military aid package was okayed by Congress and President Biden last month. Volodymyr Zelensky showed gratitude.
For our warriors, thank you that you came, especially these days, to support Ukraine. Thank you for this signal.
Blinken trying to reassure.
The assistance is now on the way, and that's going to make a real difference against the ongoing Russian aggression on the battlefield.
In fact, some U.S. weaponry already said to be there. Critically needed air defense missiles, artillery shells. Russian President Vladimir Putin, just entering his third term in office, fresh from showing off his bristling arsenal, is looking to take advantage of this missile gap.
I do think that Putin is feeling much more confident about his ability to prevail in this conflict, about his ability ultimately to break our will.
As Putin gets his house in order, axing his longtime defense minister, arresting other officials for corruption, heading off to Beijing to meet with allied Chinese President Xi Jinping. Secretary Blinken, he rounded out his day in Kyiv, heading to a music venue where he played, appropriately or not, Neil Young's classic, Rocket in the Free World.
Former Ukrainian President Viktor Yushchenko was a little tougher on the U.S. than Zelensky, calling the delayed American military aid a, quote, colossal waste of time, which allowed Putin to inflict more suffering in the war. We'll see. Greg,
thank you. Up next, the panel on the Michael Cohen testimony at the Trump trial and the vice presidential possibilities who are showing up at the president's trial. First, beyond our borders tonight, an Australian judge sentences a former Aussie Army lawyer to almost 6 years in prison for leaking to the media classified information exposing allegations of Australian war crimes in Afghanistan. David McBride had pleaded guilty to 3 charges, including theft and sharing with members of the press documents classified as secret. Georgian lawmakers approve a bill requiring media, non-governmental organizations, and other non-profit groups to register as pursuing the interests of a foreign power if they receive more than 20% of their funding from abroad. The measure has sparked weeks of mass protests, with critics seeing it as a Russian-style threat to free speech and the country's aspirations to join the European Union. And Europe's oldest monarch, King Harold of Norway, welcomes Denmark's King Frederick and his Australian-born wife, Queen Mary, on their second official visit abroad. The 87-year-old Harold returned to work last month following 2 surgeries to implant pacemakers. Just some of the other stories beyond our borders tonight. We'll be right back.
Saving for retirement was tough enough.
And navigating markets can be challenging at times.
Okay.
That's why efficient. We keep a disciplined approach with your portfolio, helping you through the market's ups and downs.
What about communication?
We check in regularly to keep you informed.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better.
Moving to position.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
A perfect day for a family outing. Shingles doesn't care, but Shingrix protects. Only Shingrix is proven over 90% effective. Shingrix is a vaccine used to prevent shingles in adults 50 years and older. Shingrix does not protect everyone. It's not for those with severe allergic reactions to its ingredients or a previous dose. An increased risk of T-Home-virus syndrome observed after getting Shingrix. Planting can also happen. The most common side effects are pain, redness, and swelling at the injection site, muscle pain, tiredness, headache, shivering, fatigue, and upset stomach. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Shingrix today.
Our biggest challenge? Uncertainty. If these surcharges, who knows what to expect?
Turn shipping to your advantage
Keep it simple with clear upfront pricing.
with USPS Ground Advantage.
I own a lot of businesses, so my tech and my network need to keep up. Thank you, Verizon Business.
Now when businesses get faster, reliable internet on the same network that powers our phones.
So whatever's next, we're cooking with fire.
Switch to the partner businesses rely on.
My back got injured very bad. I was off work for about a year. I heard about a relief factor from my wife. I took it every day 3 times a day for 3 weeks. Look at her, and I said, the pain is gone. She said, I'm glad it helped. I said, no, you don't understand. It's gone.
You too can feel better every day with Relief Factor, a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Call or go online now and get 35% off your first order.
From the #1 rated brand in Corey's outboard power, the Eagle Zero Turn Riding Mower with steer technology drives like a car, turns on a dime, and it cuts up to 2.5 acres on a single charge. Exclusive Lowe's Ace Eagle authorized dealers.
20 seconds a week to lose 20% of your weight in a year with diet and exercise. That's the power of GLP-1s through Row. Connect with the provider today at row.co/20.
Wounded Warrior Project has been with me every step of my journey.
They've helped me realize it's possible to rise to the top again.
It's possible to get the help I need for me and my family.
It's possible to hang push-ups again.
To feel understood.
To begin healing both inside and out.
To feel like myself again.
And now I know anything is possible.
Over 13 million Americans were affected by identity theft in 2022, and the threats are more than you realize. If you're a victim of identity theft, LifeLock works to fix it on your behalf, backed by the $1 Million Protection Package. Enroll now. Meet Norman. He's part Jack Russell and part tornado. Make the Bissell Crosswave Hydro Steam. It's part vacuum, mop, steamer, and tornado.
Oh, come on, man. You fucking serious?
My name is Faye, and I'm 81 years old, and I love life. I started taking Balance of Nature 6 years ago. I think we've all had the experience of looking at supplements and not even understanding the ingredients. And Balance of Nature, you understand every ingredient. I would not go a day without my Balance of Nature.
Get 35% off your first order as a preferred customer when you use discount code Fox News.
This is Remington. He's a member of the family for sure. We always fed him kibble. It just seemed like the thing to do. But he was getting picky. He heard about her father's dog, and it was a complete transformation. His coat was so soft. He had amazing energy. He was a completely different dog. It's a no-brainer that Remy should have the best nutritious and delicious food possible. And investing in my dog's health and happiness.
Get started at longlivedogs.com.
I paid a lawyer a certain amount of money. We locked it down as legal expenses. This is the whole case. Are you allowed to call the legal expense a legal expense? I don't know what else you call it, actually.
Mr. Trump, I welcome you. You're doing what Michael Cohen is willing to do. Stand up and tell the truth.
This guy is a known felon. He's been convicted. He's lied to Congress. And this is the star witness.
This is the first witness who said Trump knew what these payments were for. Very crucial testimony in a case against Donald Trump. Key witness on the stand, Michael Cohen, self-described fixer for that Mr. Trump at the time. Washington Post writes it this way: Trump attorneys sharply questioned Michael Cohen in a hush money trial. Cohen was questioned by prosecutors all day Monday and into Tuesday about his time working for Trump. He described repeatedly lying and even going to prison to protect his former boss. Defense attorneys got off with a battered star questioning Cohen about his own profane social media commentary about Trump in the case. We'll start there with now. Molly Hemingway, editor-in-chief at Federalist. Julia Manchester, national politics reporter for The Hill, Washington Post columnist, Mark Thiessen. Okay, Molly, what's your take on prosecutors, defense started, where we are?
Well, this is a show trial, and it is, we finally reached the end of the prosecution. But what I thought was really interesting that you saw today were all of these other Republicans starting to show up outside the courthouse to really make their voices heard about the Democrat lawfare against the most prominent Republican out there. You even heard Queen Jean-Pierre today say that she couldn't talk about the case because it related to the 2024 election. And I think that was actually a rare moment of honesty. We have seen Democrats using their office for their political opponents, and it is something that does not seem to be helping in their poll numbers. But really, any Republican, and even like any American who cares about rule of law, is going to be speaking loudly against using courts to go after political opponents.
There's all kinds of things that have come up in this trial, but the main thing is the records. That's what the whole thing's about, 34 counts. And the actual records and how they were listed. You heard there that there were some analysts saying that Cohen made that linkage and that was a positive for the prosecution. There's others saying it's just not there.
Yeah, it could be a positive, but at the end of the day, Michael Cohen is viewed by, quite frankly, a lot of the public as someone who's unreliable, someone who's really cashing in on his ties to Trump, or I guess I should say his former ties to Trump. You know, I thought it was interesting that the defense opened up their cross-examination of Michael Cohen, bringing up the fact that Michael Cohen attacked Trump's defense attorney on TikTok. So they're really trying to make that linkage there. And, you know, in terms of the jury, it's obviously going to be up to them, but the jury, if they're paying attention to Michael Cohen in the news, on social media, etc., it's hard for me to see how Michael Cohen's reputation really gets any better from here.
So it's interesting, Speaker Mike Johnson appeared in court today, but you also noticed that there are potential VP contenders that are popping up in that courtroom. Take a listen to a couple of them.
I think one thing that we've all known is this was a sham trial. The star witness is a serial perjurer. This trial is a joke. This thing is a farce. Where's the crime? There is no crime. If this were happening in another country, we would be laughing at them as a sham democracy and ashamed as an American citizen.
I will tell you right now, the same way that I stand here, steadfast behind our president, I know that America stands with him as well.
I don't know if they got the memo on the uniform, but it is something.
Twice you missed.
The buzz is that Governor Burgum has some more steam in that vice presidential race. What do you think?
Well, first of all, there's a saying goes that the most dangerous place in Washington is between a politician and a camera. And the most dangerous place in New York is between a VP aspirant and that top left corner above Trump's shoulder during the press conference. Look, yeah, everybody's going to...
Is it a prerequisite to you?
Oh, I think so, very much so. And I think, look, everybody used to make the pilgrimage to Mar-a-Lago, now they're making the pilgrimage to Lower Manhattan. And that's smart. I mean, look, the reality is he's got to make a choice about a vice president soon. And it's got to be somebody who projects stability. Right now, you know, Trump ran as a disruptor in 2016, and that's how he won. That's the wrong message. People don't want disruption right now. Chaos on our campuses, chaos in the world, chaos at the border. He needs to be the candidate of stability. So he needs to pick somebody who's going to unite the party, bring the Republican Party together, and also appeal to swing voters and project stability. And we'll see if those people are showing up.
Well, I just want to say, you can't really be a potential VP contender if you don't take a strong position against this lawfare. But I'm not sure if you can have a future in the Republican Party, period, if you're not speaking out against this. And again, it really shouldn't just be a partisan issue. Attacks on the courts, using the courts to go after political opponents, that destroys rule of law for everybody. And so it would be probably good if you saw some sober-minded individuals across the political spectrum speaking out against this.
Yeah, we just don't talk politics here. We talk about policy. I quickly mark about this China tariffs thing. I talked about that with Doug and Alex. It is quite a turn.
It is, and it seems the entire Biden foreign policy goes through Dearborn, Michigan. They are stopping shipments of weapons to Israel in order to appeal to Arab American voters in Dearborn, and now they are assuming Trump's tariff policies in order to appeal to UAW workers in Michigan, Dearborn, Michigan. It's all about Dearborn.
Do you think it is that political, all these calculations?
No, absolutely. I mean, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, I mean, this is really appealing to that blue wall, those voters that went for Trump in 2016, Biden won back. Now, according to that New York Times Santa Clara poll, not going so well for Biden, hopefully for them.
Yeah, one poll, but I'm telling you, it does match the track with the politics average. All right, thanks, guys. Finally tonight, a special day.
Guess what? Now let's straighten it out a little bit more. Let's see. What we got?
Seriously, can you believe this? One lucky Seattle Mariners fan. I want something. He's watching the Mariners tape on the Kansas City. A spectator makes a great catch. Very next pitch, another foul ball hit his direction, and he got that one too. According to the MLB StatCast, the probability of the same fan getting 2 foul balls on 2 consecutive pitches is 1 in 10,000. I think those are low. I think it's like 1 in 10. But that's what they're saying. They know the stats. Tomorrow's special report, new Fox poll, our stats. on the election in the Middle East. Remember, if you can't catch us live, set your DVR. 6 p.m. in the East, 3 p.m. in the West Coast. Thank you for inviting us into your home tonight and every night here in Washington. That's it for this special report. Fair, balanced, and still. I'm afraid the anger mangle starts right after this pretty shot.
This is the Anger Mangle from New York City tonight. Primary elections underway right now in West Virginia, in Maryland, and in Nebraska. West Virginia polls are closing this hour, where more than a half dozen Republicans are vying for Manchin's open Senate seat. Results will be coming in at the bottom of the screen, and we'll bring you any major developments as they happen. But first, disorder in the court. That's the focus of tonight's angle. All right, first let's take some quick takes on the atmosphere in the courtroom today, where I was, and to give you a sense of what the GOP frontrunner has been dealing with these past 3 weeks. The air is musty, the floors are old, tan, brown, linoleum, remember those? And the bench is hard with a stress on the word hard. All right, I'm no body language expert, and I could be wrong, but my novice reading is that there are at least 2 jurors, and perhaps as many as 4, who will not vote that Donald Trump is guilty, will vote not guilty on the evidence that was presented. Now, it's hard for all of us, including jurors, who've been instructed to keep their emotions in check, to do just that, right? Because you hear something and you react. And it seemed that a few of the male jurors that I was observing appeared ever so slightly annoyed and unimpressed when the state was putting on its case. So how did Cohen come off? Well, to me, like a well-rehearsed dunderhead. He explained away every unsavory action as motivated by his effort to, quote, protect Trump. Again, a dutiful, if misguided friend who just wanted to help his boss. And when he was asked direct questions, do you remember saying Trump was a misogynist, a dictator, so-and-so, then so on your podcast? Instead of just answering a simple yes, it was, could be, or sounds like something I might say. That sort of careful phrasing makes him sound like a guy who's been through too many prep sessions. And when asked on cross if he was obsessed with Trump, Cohen responded, I don't know if I would describe it that way. But indeed, there was evidence that he had, in fact, used those words. In fact, his answers were purposely vague. Although to every human being on the planet, it's obvious that Cohen hates Trump now, and he wants him in jail. Although he refused to answer that question directly as well. But he was often evasive today. Again, the sign of an over-prepared witness. Now, during the trial, I tweeted that Cohen comes across as kind of a guy, maybe with a daddy complex. I know I'm being a psychoanalyst, but just stay with me. He feverishly sought the love and approval of Donald Trump, and he wanted at some level to be just like him. And then, when the you-know-what hit the fan, you can imagine someone like Cohen saying, how could you have abandoned me, Mr. President? I thought we were buddies for life. You can't just cast me aside. I'm going to show you. A convicted perjurer, a tax evader, squeezed by prosecutors to cooperate, and also a resentful man who wanted to settle scores and recoup lost earnings. Reduced to selling Trump-hating tchotchkes online, hosting his stupid podcast, and writing his tell-alls. As always, cashing in on Trump. Once by just working for him, giving him a lot of lousy advice, and now working against him. This is the upstanding guy that Alvin Bragg picked as a star witness. Let me emphasize, this obviously troubled man is the guy who the state of New York has been its whole case on. The jury is going to have to believe that his word on the stand is gold. Now, from afar, just from reading the transcripts, it was obvious that Bragg treated the Trump case like a piece of silly putty. The original charges in the indictment twisted and stretched into varying forms. Legal theories changed and approaches shifted as the narrative collapsed.
We're still in a bit of gray area about what even the theory is to aggravate this to a felony. And I think that's going to be a challenge for the prosecution. Is it a federal election law crime? Is it a New York tax crime? It could be any of those. And the prosecution really
hasn't articulated with some crystal clarity what they're going to use.
Yeah, even second-rate MSNBC analysts see the problem that's inherent here. Now, believe it or not, even in New York, you can't just throw someone in jail because they're a threat to the Democrat Party. You have to show that they violated a law, and you have to prove the elements of the crime specified to get to the guilty verdict. Now remember, Trump was charged with 34 counts of violating New York Penal Code 175.10, falsifying
Two
business records in the
sectifieds.
first degree. These charges require that he must have intended to falsify those entries regarding the billing with the additional intent of committing another crime or to aid or conceal that crime. Now, what was the booster crime that supposedly bumped a bookkeeping ledger entry into a felony? As you heard that MSNBC gets, it's still not clear. In fact, I'm not sure that the state of New York even knows what the answer to that obvious question is. There's generally been a vague assertion, though, by the prosecution that Trump and Cohen and others somehow conspired together to violate state campaign finance laws. So the law in question in that case would have to be Section 17-152, which prohibits illegally conspiring to promote or prevent the election of any person to public office. But, as Andy McCarthy has noted well, that makes no sense because it circles back to the federal election law, which Bragg has no authority to enforce. Now, occasionally, even die-hard Trump haters had to acknowledge reality.
What's the underlying crime here? What is that rule?
I was assuming it's New York election law conspiracy to promote an election by unlawful means.
We don't know that at this point.
Well, Judge Steinglass said that earlier, not in front of the jury. I don't know why it wasn't said in opening statements. Typically, in an opening statement, you tell them what the charges are and what you intend to prove. You know, say at the end, surprise, this is it.
Didn't even talk about the statute today. Zero. No talk of the statute. Or yesterday. All right, after spending the day in the courtroom, as I did today, it was clearer than ever that the New York justice system, it's not just badly broken, it's perverted and it's poisonous. How do you get to the point where you think Stormy Daniels and Jughead Cohen are more credible than Donald J. Trump? They obviously changed their story out of revenge, so why would the government trust them? It's obvious to everyone, even the press, that this case was brought solely to help Joe Biden get reelected, and that is shameful, and that's the angle. All right, joining me now is Judge Janine Pirro, co-host of The Five. Judge, last week, one star witness, Stormy Daniels, said she hated Trump, and the other star witness, liar Michael Cohen, admitted to calling Trump a whole bunch of nasty names. This case is based in animus and revenge. Do you see it any other way?
Well, look, the truth is that Michael Cohen has actually said that Donald Trump belongs in a cage with animals. Michael Cohen is probably one of the worst witnesses you could put on a witness stand. And for Alvin Bragg to make him the centerpiece of their case, when in truth, no normal prosecutor would make him even a collateral part of the case, tells you how phony this whole thing is. And when you talked about, you know, how do you open a case? How do you make an opening statement, defend a case, if you don't know what the second crime is? If you don't know what bootstraps is to a felony?
What does that tell you?
Well, that tells me, number one, that the judge is all in for Biden and Harris, that instead of "In God We Trust," it should say Biden-Harris, the seal behind the bench. Okay? And it tells me, because, I mean, I was on that same bench, you cannot possibly let someone try a case who doesn't tell you what the crime is in the indictment.
How is that American?
The bill in particulars, in terms of making your opening statement, I would object, Your Honor. I don't know what I'm being, what I'm defending.
And the close today,
Full cover.
The prosecution, stopped the questioning. Right. I kept thinking, okay, he's going to mention the statute now. The elements of the crime are coming. Yep. Same thing going, where's the crime?
He's the last witness. How do you end a case with this guy as your last witness? This guy, Michael Cohen, they can try to make him a normal guy.
Yeah.
He is the guy who is so angry. He's got no future. He's got no law license. He's got no job. He hates Donald Trump. He wasn't invited into the White House. It made him crazy. And now he's saying whatever he can to put Donald Trump in jail. And the jury hates him. Before the table was set, every witness who came up for the prosecution said, Michael Cohen's a bully, he yells at people, he's arrogant, he's mean, but Donald Trump's a great boss. He's a fantastic guy. He's a multitasker. I love working for him.
Well, Judge, the prosecution asked Cohen today if he made false statements to Congress in 2017, to which he said, they dealt with the Trump Tower Moscow real estate project, specifically the number of times that I claimed to have spoken to Mr. Trump about the project. I told him I'd only spoken to Mr. Trump about this project three times. The prosecution asked, and in truth, how many times had you? Cohen responded 10 times. Judge, the prosecution's attempt to explain Cohen's lying to Congress, again, loyalty to Trump.
Okay, you can lie and say, I'm being loyal to Trump, but you cheated on your taxes, you lied to the bank, you also, you perjured yourself under oath, you violated campaign finance laws, you literally audio taped your client. That's a violation of all of the ethics.
Why was that allowed in? I mean,
why was
we all know there's a crime fraud exception to the attorney-client privilege. Right. Everyone watching, your lawyer can't go tell the court what you told the lawyer. That's the whole point of having an attorney, because we have to trust the attorney. Right. Michael Cohen, the snake that he is, taped Donald Trump clearly without his knowledge, right? And then they entered into court on the crime fraud exception. But again, I ask again, what's the crime?
They don't tell you. It's the same thing with Stormy Daniels.
That tape should not have been allowed in court.
That tape should not have been allowed. Stormy Daniels should have said nothing more than, yes, I got an NDA. Yeah. But they went into all the peripheral stuff, which guarantees a reversal by the Court of Appeals based on the Weinstein case.
Do you think that if what you're hearing and what you're seeing in this case?
Yeah, I was in the court.
Yeah, I know you were. So you saw the jury. And it's hard to read a jury. It's hard to read faces, but I'm playing fake body language expert. Yeah, I saw not guilty. That's what I'm saying.
You know what I saw? I saw a lot of people who didn't look strong to me. I did this for 30 years. Yeah. Trying cases and sitting on benches. They're not homogenous.
They're afraid.
Normally,
people are afraid to say not guilty?
I think they may be. The fact is that there was no camaraderie.
Country's on the line.
There was no camaraderie there. There was nothing that I was used to seeing as a judge. That many weeks you're going like this, you're smiling to the person next to you.
But it's not America, though, today. America, everyone's afraid to say anything. I don't care what office building, everyone's like this. They're wall vision. They're afraid. Everyone's afraid. That's what they want us to be.
That's what this indictment is about. It's about making people afraid. And the truth is that in the end, there was no falsification of business records by someone that we've heard from. No one put a finger on Donald Trump. We don't know what the crime is. We also don't know who proved the manner in which these checks were going to be written. They haven't proved the underlying elements of the trial in the case.
I still don't understand why is it falsified to say, in response to an invoice where Michael Cohen Esquire says legal services rendered, to say legal services in the memo of the check. I don't understand why that's a crime.
Because you're believing the reason to be legal expenses.
Right, because you're a low-level person just writing the check.
You know what my fear is? Well, my fear is that this case is going to come down to jury instructions, because if the jurors say, what is considered a legal expense, Judge, then we're in danger.
Well, I read the jury instructions for cases like this before. It's going to be tough for the judge. I think he's in difficult ground.
This is a judge who gains the defendant and not the guy trashing him every night. I'm taking
not fair, Judge. I want Weissman. We got Weissman. Was it over at MSNBC? What was he saying today? Let's play it.
One of the things I was struck by was how strong the case is and how much it should really matter. Even if you put the criminal part aside, what David Pecker testified to about a media organization aligning itself with a political candidate, isn't that something we should care about? I mean, it seems so much like a page ripped from autocracy.
So, a page ripped from autocracy. That's apparently a crime now. Okay, that's a statute, a page ripped from autocracy.
And let me tell you why this works against the prosecution. Because these NDAs and catch and kill were long before Donald Trump.
Oh my God, all of Hollywood and most of politics.
Yes, without a doubt. And so they want to say it's a strong case. Somebody on MSNBC said the other day that Michael Cohen is really your tough guy. He's not a tough guy. I met him. You met him. Yeah, we've all met him. I mean, look, this is a guy who's trying to save himself. And there's nothing to save here. And he's not going to deep six Donald Trump.
I just want to say, Judge, the future of the country, they believe, should be on the line on that guy and Stormy Daniels.
Yeah, that tells you
everything you need to know about this Democrat Party today. And the whole future of the country on those two.
I am so disappointed in
Let's see how that works out for America.
It's not going to work.
Judge, I like the fact that you have an old-fashioned book that you actually write on versus these stupid phones. That I love it. That's the best. I'm trying to get everyone to go back to that. Judge Janine, thank you. Love seeing you. I love being in New York City. You take care. All right, a couple other familiar faces in the courtroom today, and they all have one thing in common. I'm going to explain it next.
Americans turn to RVing in record numbers as they pursue the spirit of freedom and travel exploration.
The RV community is stronger than ever as family and friends seek quality time together.
Camping World has been a part of the American dream since 1966. Shop over 6,000 RVs for less than $200 a month, only at Camping World.
When I started my pillow, it was just a problem solution, one product company. Well, since then, with the help of my dedicated employees, we now have hundreds of products, some you might not even know about. To get the word out, we're having a $25 extravaganza. Pack multi-use My Pillows, $25. My Pillow Single, $25. And for the first time ever, our 6-pack towel sets, you guessed it, just $25. Our brand new 4-pack dish towels, $25. And I've never done this before. Premium My Pillows with all new keys and fabric, any size, any loft level, even king size for only $25. And there's so much more. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code for our $25 extravaganza. Order $75 and over, your entire order ships absolutely free. So I'm Franklin Graham. As we watch the news, it feels like the whole world is filled and engulfed with hate. We see it on our college campuses, we see it across the world. Where did this come from? You see, hate is coming from the human heart. God made us and He created us, but sin has come to the world, and it's coming to each and every heart. And the only one who can fix the heart is God. And God did that by sending His Son, Jesus Christ, from heaven to this earth to take our sins. And He died in our place on the cross and shed His blood. He was buried. But on the third day, He walked right out of that grave. That's right. Jesus Christ is alive. And my question is, have you ever invited Him into your heart? If you haven't done it, do it right now. Just say, God, I'm a sinner. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I believe Jesus is your Son. I want to trust Him as my Savior. I pray this in Jesus' name. If you prayed that prayer, call that number right now, and it's on the screen. God bless you.
We did something.
At Biz2 Credit, we know when you're a small business owner, business is personal.
Oh.
Every challenge is a chance to grow. When the time comes, Biz2 Credit helps you get funding to expand your business. Our easy and convenient process makes it simple to take the next step on your journey. When a business is ready to grow, Biz2 Credit makes it possible. Biz2 Credit. Funding what's next.
Speaker Mike Johnson on Fox and Friends, talking Trump's trial.
I think what's happened to them is
Outrageous. Plus, Israel, the economy, and more. Ryan Kilmeade's can't-miss interview tomorrow.
Shave. Okay.
This is a very special place, very special origin story. I'd like to welcome someone here.
Grandma, get on the heels. On the move. I will go.
your political opponents instead of persuading voters. The American people have already acquitted Donald Trump because the things that they're concerned about, inflation, crime, the border, the economy, all of these things, President Trump is leading by huge double digits versus Joe Biden.
This is a sham. This is not the United States of America. This is some third-rate banana republic.
Well, what do all those guys have in common other than being in the Trump courtroom yesterday and today? They're all on Trump's VP shortlist, we're told. Joining me now, Byron York, chief political correspondent for the Washington Examiner, and Sean Duffy, co-host of FBN's The Bottom Line, just got off air. Both are Fox News contributors. Sean, you're also a lawyer. Is this turning into kind of an audition ticket? I was sitting right behind, the three of them. So there's Burgum and Donalds and Gooding. And it crossed my mind.
Of course. First of all, Vivek was there when no one else was there. He was there in the primary, so everyone else is late to the game. Vivek was there first. Listen, this is The Apprentice. This is the replay of The Apprentice on VP stakes, right? And what Donald Trump wants is he wants winners. He wants to test them out, take them for a ride. So he's like, who can raise money? Who can message the best? Who can defend me the best? And Donald Trump likes winners, right? He wanted The Apprentice. He wanted real estate. He wanted America to win during his presidency. Now he said, I'm going to win. You're going to win so much, you're going to get sick of winning, America. You're going to say, Donald, Mr. President, stop winning because we're going to win so much. And you compare these VP states, which I think this is what this is to your point. Remember when Joe Biden called Kamala Harris with a really boring phone call and asked her to be his vice presidential running mate? This has zazz. This has this is exciting. That was so tragic. It's how you get the best candidate.
All right, Byron, I don't know. We're going to talk to Ken Langone coming up, who is a big Nikki Haley supporter, but I think he's open, and we're going to have a good conversation with him. Very good governor to the GOP. But I think the Republicans right now are looking like, we just got to save this country. We've got to save the country. And does the vice presidential pick matter more because Trump will be a one-term president if he is elected, and would it mollify some of those old establishment types? Not old, but establishment types.
Well, it does matter more. I mean, another way of saying it is that Trump would be a lame duck the moment he's elected because he couldn't be re-elected. Now, as far as the points these candidates or potential candidates are making, you have to remember that the idea that Donald Trump has been unfairly targeted by law enforcement is basically universally held in the Republican base. They believed it since the Russia investigation began when Trump was inaugurated. So this is a very popular message that they're sending. But I think as far as the vice presidency is concerned, think what Trump has to do to get elected. He has to win the states that he won in 2020, probably can do that. Then the southern tier, Georgia, Arizona, and then he has to win one of Michigan, Wisconsin, or Pennsylvania. Incredibly important. You pick the guy who can help you do that.
Yeah, and Sean, as former President Trump has said, I'm going to pick someone who I think can run the country. Right. Like, who has the executive experience to actually run something? A lot of people are great people, but they've never run anything.
Here's the thing, I like that vision. I think he's got a lot of experience. He kind of channels Donald Trump himself, but you also need someone who can help you win the election. To Byron's point.
That's Nikki Haley. I mean, a lot of Trump people are hearing that and they're going off the wall when I say that.
But the flip side of that too is you want someone who's going to support your administration and your agenda. You don't want people to undermine you. Donald Trump saw that in 2016, so he wants supporters who believe in the mission. And Nikki Haley, I think the base in Trump would have.
She made a mistake, right? She should have launched him after Iowa. That was a good mistake on her part. Byron, there's been accusations that Trump is using his surrogates to get around the gag order now. Watch.
Did Donald Trump ask you to come out and criticize the judge's daughter?
No, not whatsoever. And I'm not here completely as a volunteer.
You've been disappointing, Dragonova. You're missing all your fucking shots.
I think it's fine if someone wants to be a Democratic operative, just recuse yourself. If you're a judge who's got a family member that's making money off of controversies like this, well, the gag order applies specifically to Donald Trump and Donald Trump alone. I think improperly so, but that's what it does. I've been hearing you criticize Michael Cohen. You are not covered by the gag order. I'm not either.
What would I do if Judge Merchan?
Oh boy, that would be tough. And neither is anybody else here. So it's kind of a kooky idea that a gag order should apply not only to the person it specifically applies to, but everybody who agrees with that person.
I
I get the sense, CNN has asked me a question of Doug Bill. Have they ever asked that question of Michael Cohen?
There he is.
Axios, Politico, has the White House called and told you Joe Biden is actually catching up in the polls, and he really has a lot of vim and vigor and a spring in his step. Go. Have they ever said that to you? Okay, come on. Well, Sean and Byron, so great to see you both, and great to be in the studio. All right, Biden is a well-known plagiarist, and we reveal what he just stole from Trump.
3 misses. Wow. 4 misses.
You better start being real careful. It's no ordinary kind of money. The jury's for retire. Let's see.
How much is it worth to have a clear conscience?
At Quince, we make inexpensive, expensive things. We know it sounds like a paradox, but we just flipped the way luxury is made. Like washable mulberry silk, unbelievably soft jackets, fine wool, cashmere, all at a fair price. Get free shipping and 365-day returns at quince.com.
This is our last chance to help save thousands of Holocaust survivors who are suffering with all the needs that these forgotten Jews have are something beyond anything you can imagine.
Have you eaten this morning?
I ate chocolate yesterday, and I had it today for breakfast. And this is what she ate in 2 days, 1 time. Please pray for me.
The International Fellowship of Christians and Jews began this ministry to help elderly Jews living in horrible poverty around the world. We urgently need your gift of $25 now to help provide one survival food box with all of the foods they critically need to diet.
It breaks my heart to know that there are
Excellent.
survivors who suffer to this very day. It's not only the painful memories of lost loved ones, but now with pensions of less than $2 per day, they live in some of the poorest conditions imaginable.
I believe in God, but I sometimes think maybe you forgot me. Perhaps you could tell my story, and I would find a matching soul that would understand. I face hunger again.
Please don't delay. Call, scan, or go online now to help rush one survival food box to a Holocaust survivor who is in a desperate need.
This is what God wants from us. Just feed the hungry.
There he is.
Hear God's voice.
Get out in the open so I can flash bomb you.
Do it when it's on your heart. Pray. You'll know when they're fine when it's done.
Okay.
You're not alone. I want to say that Sarah Vital has given me a new normal. Within, I'd say about 2 to 3 weeks, I've already started to see changes. I'm such a believer in that it truly can change your quality of life. You know, I don't expect to look 38 and 58, but I do want to feel great. And I want to look great. Order now, because we're letting as many women as possible try Sarah Vital for 90 days, absolutely risk-free. Go to trysterilvital.com for your risk-free trial.
Introducing Cardia Mobile. With Cardia Mobile, the FDA-cleared smart device, you can take a medical-grade EKG in just 30 seconds from anywhere.
Every morning I check, make sure I'm in good shape. Makes me feel pretty good about my heart condition.
Cardia Mobile is proven to detect atrial fibrillation and is FDA-cleared to detect normal heart rate, bradycardia, and tachycardia.
I mean, you might as well get it out.
Get Cardia Mobile today for just $79 at cardia.com or Amazon.
Eagle, the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power, brings you the Select Cut mower. Customized to cut with 3 interchangeable blades. It cuts for over an hour on a single charge. Eagle, exclusively Lowe's, Ace, and Eagle authorized dealers.
Indoctrination. It's happening to our kids in the media and in schools. and this may be your last chance to save them. Safeguard your kids with my company's free Kids Guide to Fighting Indoctrination. To order, visit kidsfightback.com. That's kidsfightback.com.
Do you need more space? You need a General Steel building system. Text BIG to 59583 to start designing your customized space. That's BIG to 59583 for same-day pricing on your personalized steel building system. Text BIG to 59583 before prices go up.
Only through Simply Safe 24/7 lifeguard protection allows Simply Safe agents to help stop crime in real time. Stop, police are on their way. For instant intruder deterrence and faster police response. Now get 40% off the Simply Safe system. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
When you can't watch, listen. Get the latest news, business, and news headlines on SiriusXM. Anytime, anywhere. Fox News Audio on SiriusXM. America is listening.
Polls closing moments ago in West Virginia, where Republicans are vying to pick up Senator Joe Manchin's Senate seat. Results should start coming in soon at the bottom of your screen. And in Maryland and in Nebraska, the polls are still open. All three states could have a major impact on the balance of power in Congress. So stay with Fox for all the latest results. Now, for the second time in less than a week, Biden lied about inflation.
Inflation has gone slightly up. It was 9% when I came in, and it's now down around 2%.
Where did he go? There he is. Oh, it's just too far.
That's why we have
Okay.
stay the course and continue to produce these incredible jobs. And the jobs, by the way, the pay for the jobs are outpacing the inflation rate of pay. We're going to be able to do this.
Did he say outpatient? I don't think he should. Sounded like that. I don't think he should say the word outpatient. All right, fact check. That was a total lie. When Biden came into office, Trump handed him an inflation rate of 1.4%. Now Biden was right on one thing. Inflation is 9%. It's a year and a half. It is presidency. Joining me now, Caroline Gardner, a little bit about the economy. Billionaire Home Depot co-founder, major GOP supporter, and Americans aren't believing Biden on the inflation issue.
They shouldn't. I can't believe it. They're not to speak for themselves. Why do you think he's doing that? Because he's a liar. Why do liars lie? Because they lie. That's why you call them. Look, think of all the other things he said that have no basis in fact. None. And the irony of it is the American people, because of the media, is being given a pass. I mean, that's the most absurd remark in the world, to say that inflation was 9% when he came in. You had right.
1.4%. Now, when you think about what's happened to the country in this beautiful and wonderful city of New York, I mean, you were here in its heyday. I remember. Oh, yeah, but of course you were. Listen to that accent. You're not exactly from Mississippi with that accent. So you think about what's happening now in that trial in Manhattan, and the jurors sitting there and they're hearing this case. You're watching this from the outside. You've seen a lot in your life. What's your take?
My take is it's a shame that the jurisprudence system is being used for political purposes. And people that make the remark, this has been out of public behavior, they're right. That's what it is. It's exactly what
Did you ever think you'd see this in the United States of America?
Well, I was subjected to it myself with my dear friend who happens Elliot Spencer. He did the same thing.
It's been happening for some time, but this is at the highest of highs.
Well, now it's profit. Now it's
Ho, 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 ho. I got lucky.
It is. You know what? We don't need what. Look, I'm not a defender of Trump. What crime did he commit? That's something I still can't understand. What crime did he commit that he's on trial in New York City today?
Would you endorse Donald Trump tonight on the show? I know lots of people were Nikki Haley supporters. You were one of them. A lot of very, very well-connected and wealthy people who are Haley fans. What about
I said on television a couple weeks ago that I was going to vote for my wife.
Okay, that's cute, but that doesn't work on the Anglo Mango.
Oh, I know. I think the most important decision he's going to make is who his running mate is. Because his running mate has the best shot at being the next president. Because he can't. He's finished after his term. And I think I'm just going to keep my powder dry and watch and see what he's.
So you would consider sitting out the election and not supporting Trump if he picked someone that you didn't think was.
Well, first of all, I live in New York State. My vote doesn't count.
No, but your money counts. They need your money.
Believe me,
Elaine and I are supporting John Kennedy in my office yesterday. By the way, they don't come for my wisdom.
You're on the speed dial.
No, they come for my wallet.
Yeah.
Don't miss.
Yeah.
People shouldn't be confused to think that I have this influence. The minute my wallet's shut.
But it's a binary choice, Ken. I mean, you and I have known each other a long time, and I incorrectly stated that you had supported Biden when you were just saying you hoped he was going to be a success.
He said it in his inaugural speech.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring America
together. Yeah, but he's just smart. But this guy is from the Bronx original?
No,
I don't get my boroughs right. But you're beyond smart. You're beyond brilliant. It's a binary choice. So we can't dictate who he's going to pick for his vice president. I'm sure it's going to be someone who's, that supports him in general and his policies. And it's a binary choice. It's Biden and lose America, or Trump and who he picks. So how is that a hard choice?
I always act like I'm losing. I think that's the safest approach.
You're missing everything, man.
Well, because you don't take anything for granted. The polls look good now, but if I were Trump, and I got to give him a lot of credit.
Long Island's not a borough. I was just told one kind of thing.
Well, but if I was Trump, I'd say, who can add to the assurance that I'll win the next election? Who can add? That's what.
Would you have any suggestions?
Yeah, they can't. No, that'll never happen. But
Did she play that right after Iowa?
Who knows?
Well, you think she should be the vice president?
Look. Election night, New Hampshire. He had a chance to go out and say, I won, and now my goal is to bring the American people together. I'm gonna
back to the draft.
What does he do? He goes out and he mocks it.
But the party hasn't been this united, I don't think. I might be wrong, but I don't think it's been this united behind Trump. Behind anyone since maybe 2004.
I agree with that.
Maybe?
By the way, because you know what? You have no choice.
You're making my point. Everyone is endorsing Donald Trump by implication.
What I say is, there's no doubt about it. At the end of the day, I might hold my nose as I go.
Finally.
What choice do I have? I haven't made the decision yet.
But what's your choice? I'm sorry, reading it dead.
I want to see. You know what I'm worried about? What's going to happen?
I'm worried about losing the country. That's what I'm worried about.
I am too. And let me give you a for instance. One of the finest men I know is John Kelly. John Kelly was his secretary, was his chief of staff. Another fine man, a good friend of mine, Rex Tillerson, was a fine American people. When Jack Welch fired somebody, I had more than one kid tell me that when I walked in and Jack fired me, I swear to God, when I walked out of his office, I thought I got to go. Why beat up on a guy?
Okay, so Trump doesn't have the right tone for you, and I get it. And for some people, that's good.
But all I'm saying, these are huge men. John Kelly, my guy, 4-star general in the Marine Corps, his whole life given to this country. Rex Tillerson, poor kid.
Yeah, that was a bad choice. That was a bad choice. He was a bad choice. I would submit he wasn't a good guy. We can't debate that.
But that shouldn't give Trump license to say not nice
things. I know you're
things.
nitpicking. We have a country to save. You're talking about Rex. Nobody even knows what
I'm explaining to you.
Yeah, come and save the country. We got an open border, we have an economy that's cratering.
I'm sorry.
We gotta go, she's saying.
Human behavior matters. And I think how we treat each other civilly, with respect, matters.
Well, how long have I known you? 25
A long time. We used to sit at those dinners in Washington.
Oh my God.
Before you had this gig, what were you doing then?
I was a lawyer growing back then.
That's sad.
I think so. Yeah.
You were Scanner?
I was, yeah.
Joe Flom was one of my original investors.
Oh my gosh, the circle is complete.
At the Canis, do you remember at the Canis?
No, I'm not that old.
Very prominent.
We were dropping things in the studio.
Anyway, look.
All right, well, you're going to endorse Trump. And this is the longest tease of an endorsement.
I'm not teasing.
I know you're not, but you're going to endorse it. It's a country thing. You're Italian. You got a binary choice here. The Italians are all
going to Italian got to do with a binary choice?
Because I love the Italian people, and they're
Well, you know why?
and they're going to go for them.
You know why? We're more.
And they're telling me to rap. Another Italian.
Okay.
It's great to see you, and thank you. Will Democrats be forced to go with a plan?
Here goes the spark unit. Last mission. Let's hope it's worth it.
Happy is just too easy. Our founder, John Boris, and his dad, doing this first. They created a boat that was more affordable. Tracker, the world's #1 best-selling fishing and pontoon boat, is powered by Mercury. Proudly built in Missouri and sold factory direct.
You're fucking. What a time to miss. No, you won't. You'll be dead.
You can own a brand new Tracker and make lifelong memories of your life. Bass Pro Shops, voted America's best outdoor retailer. Save even more and support conservation. Join the club.
Balance of Nature fruits and veggies supplements are convenient and easy to add to any schedule. Paired with eating more fresh produce, regular exercise, and a positive mindset, Balance of Nature fruits and veggies supplements can help you keep your rhythm. Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Get 35%
There goes my sniper. Now we're gonna lose.
Use discount code FOXNEWS.
I'm Richard Karn, and I love my hose. It ain't those old hoses. It's the new pocket hose copper bullet infused with real copper. Turn on the water, and it grows to a full-size hose. Turn off the water, and it shrinks back to a pocket-size hose with layered latex inside and a polymer jacket outside. It's 3 times stronger. Order your pocket hose copper bullet today and get the thumb drive spray nozzle free. Hurry, order now.
When it comes to losing weight, everything you need, everything you want, everything in one plan is here. New Nutrisystem Complete. It's the complete package that you asked for and Nutrisystem delivered. With everything you need to lose weight and get healthy, like the millions before you, at one low price. You get the easy-to-use Numi app, all the live coaching you need, and the best part of losing weight with Nutrisystem, the food. Call or go online to find out more about the new Nutrisystem Complete.
At Biz2 Credit, we know nothing ruins a business owner's day like an expense you didn't expect. With funding you can count on, Biz2 Credit makes it simple and convenient to solve the problems you didn't see coming. So when your business throws you a surprise, don't throw in the towel. Biz2 Credit helps you get business funding to fight the unexpected. When trouble brews, Biz2 Credit is the solution. Biz2 Credit. Funding what's next.
Now, ADT professionally installs Google Nest products.
You're all set.
Or the most trusted name in home security adds the intelligence of Google, and you have a home with no worries. Brought to you by ADT.
Last resort sandals. Instant delivery. Now open. Visit sandals.com or call 1-800-SANDALS.
More Trump trial drama. Go inside the impact of Cohen's testimony and what it means for next steps in the case. Jesse has insight you can't get anywhere else on prime time.
The light has landed. Spurred onward. Weapon ammunition is low. No ammo.
These days, at your local region, we're marching to a different drum. Mission to have fun and to welcome everyone to
I don't think I'm gonna make it. You gotta get lucky.
Enemy is still up. This should help.
gang that's terrorizing a Phoenix suburb are getting plea deals. Senior national correspondent Kevin Cork is here with all the details. Kevin.
Evening, Laura. 3 plea deals accepted by those teen suspects in connection with the so-called Gilbert Goons street gang. By the way, that's Gilbert, as in the town near Phoenix, Arizona. Jacob Pennington, Garrett Bradshaw, and DeLeon Haynes, all pleading guilty to aggravated assault charges. Pennington arrested for his involvement, in fact, in multiple assaults. Bradshaw and Haynes also facing charges of assault, aggravated assault, and robbery. The 3 members of another gang by the name of William Hines and at least 3 others, all mentioned in connection with the gang that was thought to be responsible for the murder of Preston Lord back in October of 2023, which helped to bring the so-called goons into the national spotlight. Now, for months, police in various East Valley cities have been investigating acts of teen violence, with one of those resulting in the death of another teen. But the outrage doesn't stop there, Laura, because while the 3 men I mentioned at the very outset did take plea deals, one of them has already been granted supervised.
Unreal. Kevin, thank you so much.
The polling data has been wrong all along. How many people you guys do a poll at CNN? How many folks you have to call to get one response?
I love how anytime Bidener's team are confronted with bad poll numbers, they never say, well, maybe we should rethink at least one of our lousy policies that are hurting Americans every day. They just say, you're stupid, and the polls are wrong.
Why do you think Americans are so down on President Biden?
What do you mean?
Like the 5 of 6 swing states that he is losing right now to somebody who is a criminal defendant. It seems like anything you guys are doing is being wrong.
I can't speak to we understand what the American people is feeling. A lot of the policies that the president is pushing forward are incredibly popular.
Well, now the team Biden's gaslighting, and it's starting to worry the left. Axios is writing, Biden doesn't believe his bad poll numbers, and neither do many of his closest advisors. According to people familiar with the matter, some Democrats think that Biden and the team Biden is in denial and sleepwalking into defeat. Joining me now, Charlie Burt, Washington Times opinion editor, Fox News contributor, and live.
Yes, we did it.
Assistant Treasury Secretary. Charlie, how does Trump?
Oh, we did it all right.
On this Biden denial of reality regarding his policy?
I think that by just, for him to keep talking about the issues, as you point out, delusion is not a political strategy. It's not working for the administration, and and Joe Biden does not appear to be able to learn from any mistakes. They keep doubling down on terrible policies, and I think that the more President Trump just focuses on his agenda, talking about border security, talking about lowering inflation, talking about bringing stability to the world by making America more energy independent, which also lowers gas prices. If he focuses on those key issues, I think that it's an unbeatable. That is an unbeatable message.
Now, the media are holding out that hope that this conviction in one of the Trump trials might save Biden. Watch this. To the extent that we can see anything in the polling, it's showing that the trial isn't changing things much one way or the other in terms of views of either of the 2 candidates. I think on the polling of it, it hasn't impacted people yet. We know from polling we've seen that if he is convicted, that the polling has showed that it could impact people and how they view him. Monica, that's it. That's the strategy. She kind of implicitly admits it.
Well, I hope it remains the strategy because it's clearly not working for them. And in fact, all these people say, well, it's not moving the needle at all. All of this lawfare against President Trump actually is moving the needle toward President Trump. And poll after poll shows that most American people say, even if there is a conviction here out of this New York jury, it's going to make them more likely to vote for Donald Trump. Actually rallied people to his cause. They turned it into a sympathetic figure. They turned it into a martyr, and more and more people want to rally on his behalf. They can't wait to go back. There's a little bit of a rescue fantasy here, too, among the voters that want to get out there and rescue Donald Trump.
Charlie, sitting in that courtroom today, I kept saying to myself, as a young attorney, like in the 90s, in my wildest imagination, I never would have thought I've been sitting a few blocks from the federal courthouse where I was clerking and a trial of the leading candidate for the Republican Party, and a case where they don't specify the crime. In my million years, I never thought I would see this.
And, you know, as a following,
He's got a bat.
You love politics and you love following politics. This is historic. This is an amazing time that we live in, and we've never seen anything like it. And I think you're right. I think Monica's right. I think people see through it. I think that they recognize that this is not so much an attack on Donald Trump, though it is. This is an attack on our judicial system, on our most treasured guarantees of justice in this country, because they're trying to turn even the judicial system into a political cudgel to stop an opponent that they're terrified of facing. If they saw nothing else, this weekend with that massive rally in New Jersey, the bluest of blue states, it's that they can't go up against this guy. They can't beat this guy in a fair election. So their only hope is to try to stop him in a program, including jailing him.
Monica, we got to 30 on the movement. 50-state strategy. How powerful is this New Jersey visual? How powerful is that?
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's worth its weight in gold. It's a campaign strategy as well. And the president is talking about putting a number of blue states into play.
50 states.
Virginia,
America isn't
Minnesota.
12 states, it's 50 states.
Exactly.
I love that moment. Monica, you've been talking about that for years. Monica, Charlie, both of you, thank you. All right, millions in Ukraine aid gets Blinken some stage time? No, Jimmy Fallon has it, and that's next.
I'm former Major League pitcher Andy Pettit. I teamed up with Tunnel to Towers after seeing their life-changing work with military and first responder families. Now we're expanding our mission to help veterans struggling with homelessness. We want to help them rebuild their lives not only by giving them a home, but by providing the services they need. 2 years ago, I saw on Fox News the commercials with Frank, and just really had a pull on my heart to just start, trying to help this foundation. And it's just something, if you're an American, I just feel like, how can you not get behind, and he's just done a great job. It's just been awesome being involved with him. All the funds are going to everything that T2T is going, to the military families, whether it's building homes for them, the first responders. He's making a strong push to try to help the homeless around the country. And so I know they're buying hotels up in a lot of the major cities, and they're going to be down in Houston on November 9th, opening up a new facility down there that we've done. And so just a lot of great things going on. So that's what all this money, I believe, is being raised today is going to. It's just their ultimate goals. Public service people have always had a soft spot in my heart. My dad was a police officer in Baton Rouge. And then when I was with the Yankees, when I was playing, I tried to do stuff for our Wounded Warriors. And so it just always had a spot in my heart. And so, like I said, can't believe I went so many years without even hearing or knowing about Tunnel to Towers Foundation. And a couple of years ago, I first saw it. And when I did, I immediately was like, I got to get involved in this. And so it's been a big success so far. Please join me in donating at t2t.org.
I want to tell you about a really simple thing you can do for your heart. This is Super Beats, and I swear by it.
Super Beats is America's #1 doctor, pharmacist, and cardiologist recommended beet brand for heart health support with clinically studied grapeseed extract to help promote normal blood pressure nearly 2 times more effectively than diet and exercise alone.
So do something good for your heart and your energy. Who loves you?
3 months supply on all bundles at freesuperbeats.com. Use discount code FOX and get 20% off.
Most guys get serious eye bags as they get, but most
Excellent.
guys don't do anything because
Well, that's it, guys. Take it easy.
they think it's too expensive.
And I'll see you next one.
It actually works. But here's the thing. Most guys are wrong because there are